Well, they did it. They made a pretty good movie out of the age-old notion that men are just never gonna know what the fuck women are thinking. So Chaos Walking is a brand new movie starring Spider-Man and Rey, or Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley for those who don't watch blockbusters. But if you don't, then you probably don't know who these two are. That's an assumption. The movie is set about 240 years in the future on a planet where, and this is the hook, everyone's thoughts are literally on display for everyone else to see. Whatever the characters are thinking, it appears as a sort of oil slick cloud emanating from their head, and everyone else can also hear their thoughts just as loud as if they were talking normally. You know when you play music and you get the graph or whatever it is, the lights that bounce with it, that's kind of what it looks like. It kind of pulses with what they're saying when it's just normal thoughts. But it goes even a step beyond that, and they can actually use their thoughts to visually create stuff that other people can see. Like as an example, at one point in the movie, Tom Holland, he saw this map, and so then later he thinks about the map and it's displayed out in front of him from this like thought bubble. And it's a really cool concept the first time you see it. In the very first shot of the movie, Tom Holland's character Todd Hewitt, a name you're not gonna forget by the end, he's just walking through the forest having random thoughts, and they're all on display for us to see, and he comes across this preacher. Immediately Todd tries to control his thoughts, and he just starts thinking about his name. That's his method of trying to hide his thoughts from everybody else. Todd Hewitt, Todd Hewitt, Todd Hewitt, Todd Hewitt, I'm Todd Hewitt, I'm Todd Hewitt. You're not gonna forget his name. Happens a lot. Cool idea, right? It is, but it does tend to get a little bit overwhelming when we're introduced to a whole bunch of other characters and everybody's thinking at the same time, which I guess is kind of the point. They call it the noise for a very good reason. And in this world, some people have a better handle on being able to control their noise. For most people, it's just out there. Every thought they have is just loud and obnoxious and you can hear everything, whereas others, they can control it so well, you don't hear anything. Can you guess who might be in charge in a place like this? Did I say everyone's thoughts were on display? Nope. Turns out it's just men. Women are just as big a mystery as they have always been and forever will be. But the setup is this. Todd was born in this village, and years ago, when he was still a baby, a war broke out between the people of his village and some aliens on the planet. And what happened was the aliens completely wiped out all of the women. So Todd, his entire life, he's never seen a girl. He remembers his mom vaguely, but any other female encounters, never seen one. Sounds pretty good. Just kidding. So yeah, Todd's just living his best life in the sausage fest capital of this world until, of course, one day he meets Viola, a stranger from a strange place. Now, the movie never really went where I thought it was going to go, but when it introduces us to Viola and she comes into this village of all men, it gets a little uneasy. No one in this village has shown any sort of redeeming qualities, so when a girl enters the mix, your thoughts kind of go to the worst possible outcome. Thankfully, the story avoids that and sends Todd and Viola out on basically an escort mission, and that's the bulk of the story. Of course, you do get the sense pretty early on that things aren't quite as they appear to be, and maybe you don't have the whole story. But the movie does a really good job of slowly revealing that, just enough to keep you interested. And it combines that with some great scenes of embarrassing, awkward moments between Todd and Viola based on just the simple fact that Viola can hear every single thought that Todd is having. And he's never seen a girl. I'll let you figure out the sort of comedy that comes along with stuff like that. I mean, it's not a situation I would want to be in, but it's entertaining to watch. What I really liked about this movie is that it was a fresh concept that they utilized really well. That doesn't always happen, and I realized that they had done a good job when the movie ended, and I couldn't come up with any sort of other ideas of the way the story could have gone. Lots of times we will see sort of fresh concepts come out of Hollywood, but in my opinion, more often than not, they fail to capitalize on what are really good ideas. A perfect example is The Purge, the original one with Ethan Hawke. Its fresh concept was that for 24 hours, one day a year, all crime is legal. That's a great jumping off point for a lot of potential when it comes to different stories. Unfortunately, the movie just sort of devolved into a home invasion movie, which there are lots of. You see what I mean? Chaos Walking uses its unique idea to tell a complete story, and it keeps that idea involved all the way up to the final shot of the movie. I didn't go into too much detail regarding the plot of this movie. I do know that sometimes my reviews can get a little bit spoilery, but for this one, I had a lot of fun. I don't want to spoil anything. I can easily recommend checking it out. Both Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley give great performances. They're solid throughout, and the story is engaging enough to keep you interested all the way to the end. What more do you really need from a movie these days? Now granted, if you don't like outlandish science fiction movies and you're more used to real world topics and stories and stuff like that, you're probably not going to be that interested in a movie like this. For me, anytime I watch a movie, even if I know I'm supposed to be suspending my disbelief, I will always think about things in a realistic capacity. As an example, my one issue that I had, that I was able to let go with, but right off the hop, is that in this world where everybody's thoughts are on display, I really don't think that everybody thinks that much on any given day, nor are they that articulate with their thoughts. So yeah, it's obviously exaggerated for the entertainment purposes of this movie. Obviously. It would be pretty boring if it was just tacos, oil change, summer vacation. Yeah, I guess the movie made the right choice. So how about you? Have you had a chance to check out Chaos Walking yet? If you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And I will see all of you in the next one. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. That might be because you have questions like, why is this guy talking about movies while clearly sitting in the front seat of a van? That's because I'm in the midst of transforming this van into my full-time home. And I love talking about movies. I'm throwing it all up on YouTube, the entire process. I got the van used. I will be continuing to talk about movies because that really is my passion. That and, wrenching on cars and building things. So that's what this channel is all about. Van life plus movies. If that sounds like something you might be interested in, I don't ask this too often, consider subscribing and keep up to date on everything I'm doing. See you guys later.